Hello YouTube, it's Joelle. I'm back. This video is obviously from the title, all the things that I wish I knew while I was still in college, and technically that's a little bit of a lie. I am still in college. I'm going back for a last quarter, but I technically graduated also. I am, I guess was a 19 at Dartmouth, meaning that I graduated in the class of 2019. Will be graduating in the class of 2019, technicalities. And I am an econ modified with film major and minor in digital arts. But I want to make this video because we're going into back to school season, and having been in like the graduating class and working in New York for the summer with a lot of friends who are starting their full-time jobs, I just have a lot of thoughts, I suppose, on things that I wish I knew in college. Not necessarily like the practical tips, though I have some of those, but it's a lot of things just thinking about life, like the grand scheme of your lifetime and how college fits into it. So I have a long list of things here on my laptop that I'm going to be rattling off of, and look, I just put this on for my boyfriend's closet to look like I'm a college person. Anyways, if you are looking for a long list of very practical things to know about college, such as like picking classes, making friends, and that sort of thing, you should go watch my lessons learned freshman year of college video, which will be linked down below and like in the cards or something. Yes, it's a little bit of an older video because I'm old, but whatever, it's still relevant. I would recommend go watching that. As well as this, I'm going to have some practical tips as well as more abstract human things. To me, college is so much more than getting an education. While a lot of people, I think, come into college being like, how can I succeed academically? How can I make the most friends possible? It's really easy to forget that college is a super unique time for personal growth and your personal development, understanding who you are and being secure in your identity and being able to find joy. Not just in college, but very long after that. And I think these are very specific skills that you can take the time to learn in college if you're intentional about it. Anyways, this was a really long intro. I'm gonna have to cut that out. Let's get on to the practical things. Okay, rent your textbooks or ask around for free PDFs. Google search for free PDFs. You do not want to buy textbooks kind of ever unless you're like buying it off of a friend or buying it very used. Always hit up your TAs and professors because they're there literally to help you, and if they have any kind of office hour, you better be going to it if you have questions. Your physical well-being impacts your academic performance as well as your mental health way more than you may initially give it credit to. Freshman year, I think I stayed up till 2 or 3 a.m. every night, and I had drill, like a language class, at 7:45 a.m. the next day, and I fell asleep in like every one of those classes. Reasons, maybe that's why I still suck at Spanish, but I abused my body, so don't do that. Do not study on your bed. I don't know who's still doing this, but you absolutely will fall asleep, and it makes your quality of sleep worse because you associate that physical space with having to work rather than just resting. Going out more than 3 times a week is not sustainable. I'll just tell you right now. You could do it maybe your freshman fall or something. Not that it's even that fun your freshman fall because you don't know anybody, but yeah, it's just like not good for you. Maybe that's the life you want to lead, but in terms of having a nice, well-rounded, balanced life and taking care of yourself well, I wouldn't recommend it. You may have been a very large fish at your high school, but now you're a large fish in an even bigger pond. The pond is like the Mediterranean Sea, not quite like full ocean, but still quite large. You're probably not going to be the best at things anymore, which sucks because you probably were used to that, and that's maybe why you got into like the college of your dreams, but that's okay. And learning how to not be the best at things and learning to not base your identity off of the fact that you are the best at something is going to be really helpful for when you go into the real world and are just absolutely not the best at anything. And then what do you do? Like, where's your identity at? Where did it go? You should be motivated to become better, become one of the best at those things, but also it shouldn't crush you. Seek to be the best, but also don't beat yourself up if you're not. Also, this is a great reason why pursuing your passions is actually super important, because when you can no longer, you know, try to do something in order to be the best at it, which is kind of, I feel like, how high school goes, where you're like, oh, I'm good at it, so I guess I'll keep doing it. You have to actually look for things that bring you joy, even in the stages when you're bad at it. Even when you're just learning and it's grueling, but it's like the kind of grueling that makes you want to do it more, that's a good sign, and that's probably something you should be pursuing more and spending more of your time on. My last practical tip, tangible tip, is look for free money you probably have many grants or little scholarships, even study abroad opportunities at your school that literally just like provide free money. And you know, we all wonder where that endowment goes to. This is one of those things. At Dartmouth, you can literally apply for a small grant through the professional center, and it is literally for anything. It's for if you're doing an internship that doesn't pay you and you need to support yourself through that term, or if you want to do like a research project or something. There are grants for arts projects that are just, you know, passion projects of yours, and you can apply for money to do things that you want to do. So definitely look into those from the very beginning so you're fully aware of how you could be spending your time and efforts while you're in college. Moving on, we have 10 less tangible things that I wish I knew before college. Number 1 is that your major doesn't matter. Wow, shocker. I know people don't really believe you because I didn't fully believe it when I was told this as a freshman, but when you're actually applying to jobs, basically every job you're not qualified for, and you learn everything in training. There are certain trade jobs that obviously matter, such as like engineering or like computer science or medicine. You're not going to kill someone, but when it comes to things that are more like humanities based or like very liberal arts, which is Dartmouth, you could have studied anything. And the most important part of your college education is learning how to learn and how to think critically and being on your feet. Again, this does not apply for people who are going into certain trades, but for many people, you can pivot, you can change industries. Like you want to pursue something that you think will give you a good foundation for the industry you want to go into, but there's a lot to be learned after college. Ooh, this is one of my favorite ones, but this is, no one gives a shit about your clout after you graduate. I know Greek life, rush, what sports team you're on, who you hang out with, it might feel really important when you're there because it's so big and you're surrounded by it all the time, but once you leave, no one cares because it says nothing about the quality of person you are. Yes, Greek life and social life can lead to great networking opportunities, but that's very different and they're not always helpful if it's not even in the industry you're going into. So if you're in the midst of stressing out about your social standing in college, just remember that once you leave, no one cares. Item number 3 that I wish I knew in college. There is like a finite number of people that you can genuinely invest in. It's different for everyone, but when it comes to having like real in-depth relationships, you really can't reach that with everyone. And it's kind of weird to realize that you have some friends that you will just never become that close to. If you're there for 4 years with people, there'll be some people that you constantly just like say hi to in passing, and it never gets deeper than that. And I think being okay with that is really important. That can be really hard for people who really get frustrated with more superficial relationships, but personally it's something that I am not going to waste my energy being upset about, and I'm very okay because I know that I do not have all the energy to invest in all of my relationships to get it to that level of like really solid intimacy and depth. But I don't count on many people for anything, which sounds weird and antisocial, so just ponder, chew on that. Number 4 is that mental health is extremely important and also negatively impacts way more people than you realize. So if you are currently going through struggles with mental health or are in college in the future and struggling with it, understand that it is absolutely not just you. There are so many people that you're probably surrounded by that are going through the same things and having the same thoughts as you. So don't be afraid to speak up, to reach out to others, and don't be afraid to seek help. And I mean like professional help, and through your college and through whatever medical resources are nearby, because when you start to rely on just peers, friends who may or may not be going through the same things as you, they cannot provide the level of support that you actually need. Leaning on friends and expecting professional level support from them when they are not emotionally equipped for that can be really detrimental to those relationships, and also even more so to your mental health because you feel so disappointed by them. Yes, peers are great and peers can get you through a lot, but when it comes to like really serious bouts of negative mental health, like they aren't always it, you know. My next tip is to explore your faith. because I actually have a lot of friends who wish they had taken the time to think or ask questions about life beyond while they were still in college and have the resources available to them, because you know where the faith-based clubs are on campus. There are many and they're all advertised to you, and you probably know where a lot of the religious centers are on campus. If you are the type of person that has never given it a thought, I would say college is a great time to explore that, because there's so many resources there that have like some level of credibility, where you probably know someone who's involved in each one and can give you a more personal look at it. Huge to explore that, because that will impact how you live out the rest of your life and your value systems forever after that, when they are no longer informed by this very like insular institution. Yes, another one of my favorites is to explore political and social issues in college. Many people come to college and were never confronted with things like racism, classism, or even ableism. But now is really the time to say, wow, I never thought about this that much. Maybe I should think about it, because the world is becoming wider and wider and simultaneously smaller and smaller, and I should be aware of what's going on and how it's impacting our political systems, our social networks, our economy. College is a great place to take those first steps. Along the lines with understanding that the world is a very, very wide place, there are so many options available to you. People, at least at my school, had a very, very small view of what industries and jobs were available to them, and people who felt like they didn't fit into those certain industries that were presented to them at Dartmouth felt very discouraged and almost like discredited, like all of their abilities were not seen as valuable because they didn't fit into those certain industries. But wow, there are so many jobs. If you look out at the world, anything that happens in the world happened because it's someone's job to make it happen. So if you are passionate about anything, whether it has a department at your school or not, there's probably jobs related to it. I would definitely urge you to just explore as much as you possibly can. And there may not be many resources at your school, even for film and entertainment, which is a pretty big industry. My school has extremely lacking resources, so I took to Google. That's really where I found all of my jobs, all of like the jobs that I applied to, all of my resources. And if you find that there is an industry that you are interested in going into that is not really supported by your school, consider being the first person to propose either a club or even a like course in a different department that might be able to bring people closer to that industry as well, because chances are you're not the only one and you could be helping out a lot of people by just taking that first step. Along the lines of career, networking is something that I hated in college, but since this past summer I've had to do a whole lot of cold emailing. Is huge. Take advantage of that alumni network at your school after college. That's probably going to be one of the most important parts of what you paid for, I suppose. Definitely take as many like informational phone calls or like coffee chats as you can while you're a student, and then at the end of every call or informational, always ask if they know someone that you could talk to, and then connect with them on LinkedIn, stalk that next person on LinkedIn, reach out or ask for an email connection so that you can be constantly like expanding your network and meeting more and more people. My 9th tip is to just stop complaining. Complaining is one of my biggest pet peeves. I don't mind people pointing out an issue, because that's how solutions are found. You need to pinpoint the issue to be able to make something better. But if you're gonna harp on something that you're unsatisfied with, that is either outside of your control or you are not willing to take the proper steps to make changes and you're just there to complain, oh my gosh, just shut up, please. This may sound really harsh, but genuinely there is no perfect institution. There are going to be so many things wrong with your dream school. Sorry to break it to you, there are always going to be things that disappoint you, and you can have a very positive or very negative experience at any school, regardless of how much it costs or how prestigious it is. I think it is really important to be okay with disappointment. In college, this just sounds so bleak. I'm sorry, I had a great college experience, but like, rather than approaching it from the perspective of like, wow, I hate everything and I hate this place, being able to look for like the bright spots of resilience and being able to like amplify those and feed into those to create positive cycles is so much of a healthier way to deal with it, that will help you have a more enjoyable experience and will be more beneficial for those after you. And my last tip, college is such a unique time where you are there literally to learn and to develop yourself. There are so many concerns that are lifted off because you're in this like safe little college environment surrounded by brilliant people that you can learn from, surrounded by resources, and you're like living with people who are there also cultivating themselves as individuals. Really appreciate all that time that you have there. Engage in challenging conversation. Look for resources and opportunities available at your school or in the town that you're in. Talk to professors, take them out to lunch, hear their stories, hear about what they're passionate about and how they've chosen to go through life and learn. Even in social scenes, it's so wonderful to be able to go out in a college environment when you're surrounded by friends and people you know and people your age. It's just like those weird little things where you realize how protected you are in college, and out in the real world you don't have that anymore. And some people love that freedom, some people really hate it at first and have to adjust to it a lot. But I think it's just recognizing the stage of life that you're at and appreciating what it is for what it is. It all kind of comes back to recognizing how privileged you are to be in the space that you're in. Whether it was the dream school that you wanted or not, there are going to be some wonderful people there and wonderful opportunities that you have to take advantage of, and it's all at your fingertips. And I just really encourage you to be super thoughtful and intentional with your time and with your thoughts and how much headspace you give different perspectives. So I hope all this made sense because I rambled a lot, but thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I post a lot of college related content and a lot of advice and like post-college related content, as well as just your regular lifestyle, beauty, fashion, all that fun stuff. And if you'd like to follow me on my social medias for my last term at Dartmouth, feel free to follow me. I always have them linked down below or just thrown somewhere on the screen for your convenience. Love you guys. Jesus loves you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.